Hey everyone, Marathon Hurley here, back with some more Final Fantasy VIII. Last time we attempted to start our mission in Dilling City, only to figure out that, or only to hear that we have to pass some sort of test of courage before we are able to hear what our mission is to defeat the sorceress. So now we're at the Tomb of the Unknown King, and we're going to be looking for some student who was sent here yesterday, who still hasn't returned. So with all that said, let's get straight into it. Now, I've added Selfie into my party for no particular reason. I just like having Selfie around, and I don't use her that much later in the game, so I figure I'll give her some screen time now while I'm still using her. And once you come in here, you get the student ID number. It's random every time you play through the game, so you're gonna have to come here yourself to figure it out. But you could now having done this, you could turn around and go back, but I don't want to. Instead, we want to do a little bit of a side quest here. Now, if I look at the menu, we basically want to go to each of the four corners in this, all those four corner rooms in this map, and we want to do so counterclockwise. So the easiest way to accomplish this is just to make a right at every fork you hit. No reason to really get lost there. Now, one thing that can be tricky about this place, if you do get turned around, is that the perspective is constantly switching so that you're back, as you can see here, you're facing forward. So if I came back to this room, I'd have the same perspective, but it would be for the opposite direction, which, again, can be confusing for some people. Shouldn't be a big deal as long as you just make sure you always turn right, but it could be a bit confusing. But anyway, once we get into this room, we find this gargoyle giant thing, and we had to fight him. Now let's see. I don't know if he has any spells that oh wow, he has a couple spells. Which one is it that I need? Nope, I don't want that one. I should have kept better track of which spells. I always forget which spells on the list are the ones that I don't want Protect either. You could draw Protect and Shell if you want, but I really have no interest in using those spells, but that's the spell I want. Alright. So what I want to do here is I want to draw 300 Berserk spells. It's not entirely necessary that you do this, but it will be useful later, and since we have auto haste now, we can do so at a much faster pace than we did before. One quick thing I should point out is, as you noticed, Sacred is able to heal himself randomly over time, and that's because he's Earth Elemental or something, and he's on the ground. If you cast Float on him, that eliminates that, but it won't be a big deal because once we're ready to fight him, we'll basically kill him in 2 shots anyway. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go ahead and draw the 300 Berserk spells. Well, before I do that, let me actually just make sure that this last spell is something that I need. Actually, I actually do want the life spell as well. So what I'm going to do here is draw the Berserk spell and the life spell, get 300 copies of those, and then I'll be right back. Okay, I'm back. I actually decided to go ahead and draw the 100 shell spells in addition to the Berserk and life spells, because the shell spell is actually pretty useful as a spell for junctioning to your elemental defense along with the life spell. So yeah, I went ahead and drew those. Didn't take too long, and now that we have auto haste, things will be moving much faster for us. And for defeating him, we get 20 AP, which is useful. We Quezacotl learned the magic plus 20% ability, so I'm just going to quickly set him to learn something new. Let's go with magic plus 40. And, no, actually, yeah, let's take a magic plus 40. And then I'm going to quickly add that to Selfie's list there. And now what I want to do, and this is something looking long term here, what I want to do is I actually want to give the spells that I just drew in that last boss battle to my inactive party members. And so these are spells that are going to be useful long term for various reads, for various junctions, And I'm going to want all 6 characters to have access to those spells. So I'm going to do that, and then we'll move on. And so what this means is, in the near future, we will be drawing these spells again, so that we have 600 copies of those spells. In my test run, I didn't actually do all this. For the most part, I kind of avoided doing as much drawing as possible. But looking back at it again, I think it's actually more convenient to do it this way, because then you don't have to worry about tracking down spells later in the game. If you just draw the spells you need from the enemies as you fight them, you generally can avoid having to track down any enemies, or very few enemies, later in the game. Most of the spells you need can be easily obtained from fighting forced encounters or boss battles. So yeah. Now, if you tried to come here before, I believe that wall would have been up. You need to defeat Sacred in order for that wall to be down. So now we can come here and we unlock the floodgate. And once we've done that, we're going to continue on. As before, you just want to keep going to the right. Always turn right. So we've come. So now, if we want to look at the map in this next area here, you'll see that we're at the top portion of the map. So now what we're going to do is head over to the area on the map to the left, that corner room in the left there. But to get there, we just need to keep turning right. And this is where, for me, Encounter None is really useful, because if not for Encounter None, we'd be running into several battles throughout this area, and you have to run from all of them or card them, and it's not really worth the time, in my opinion. It gets annoying having to run from all these enemies. But now I can just run through these areas in no time, so it's pretty convenient. And again, another room with the wall. I believe this wall would have been up if you had come here, if you hadn't come here earlier, or if you had come here before defeating Sacred. Alright, so now we take that piece out of the windmill there, or out of the water mill there, and yeah, we should be good to go. Now all we gotta do is head back to the center area, and then we will go from there. Now let's see. Yeah, I want to make right here. Now at this point, what we want to do is actually head to that area in the middle. So I want to just double check my map and see. So I should be, yeah, I think I can go straight from here, and then I can make a left, and I should be able to get there without having to go through. Yep. And then if I make a left here, we should be in. There we go. So now I'm gonna quickly heal up. Not that it really matters. It's not like anybody's gonna be able to kill us in there, but might as well make sure. Alright, so let's head on in. And we'll see that our good pal Sacred is here. Yep. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. If it's his big brother, and he's already that big, I can't even imagine how big his brother is. I mean, look at that guy. Or not. Alright. Okay then. Seriously. I mean, you are pretty easy to make fun of. Okay. But yeah, now we get to fight Sacred and Minotaur. And just like with the last battle, the first thing I'm going to want to do is draw a couple of spells from these guys, and then we'll be jumping back in to finish these guys off in about one blow. But just to show you what Minotaur has there, I believe he has the float spell in addition to everything else. Oh, he has double. Oh, never mind. I don't see, as you can see, I don't have these things memorized. So what we're going to do is I'm actually going to take out Minotaur first, because if we let him live, then I think he and his brother can cast or use some like double more something attack that could be kind of annoying. So I'm going to take out Minotaur, and then once it's just Sacred, I will go ahead and draw the spells that I need then. So this should take him out. There we go. And now that it's just Sacred, I'm going to go ahead and draw another 300 copies of the Berserk, Life, and Shell spells, and I will be right back. Okay, I'm back. I got all the spells that I wanted, so let's go ahead and finish off Sacred then. Shouldn't take too long, just a couple attacks and he goes down. I'm not even worried about my health because Sacred can't do nearly enough damage to kill me. So, yep. And for defeating them, they become our newest GF. And they're actually a pretty useful GF in terms of junctioning abilities. Obviously I don't really use GFs to cast at all, but yeah, we also get Sacred's card, which is really important. We actually really do need Sacred's card there. So the next thing, or first we get to confirm that we have Sacred or we confirm that we've confirmed their name there. And apparently this is a guy, I don't know what this, I guess he was the unknown king that they were talking about, so, but he's unknown, so we don't know exactly who he is. And we also get the Minotaur card. Now we could go on and begin our next mission, but there's some more side quest stuff that we want to do, and you really want to do this now because we won't be able to come back here for, well, I guess you don't have to do this right now. You could, in theory, do this a little bit later if you really wanted to, but I have a couple extra minutes, so I might as well do it now. And again, there's the ID thing. If you happen to forget in the 20 seconds, in the 20 minutes you spent running around here, but I did not. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to head back to Dilette, to the Queen of Cards, because the next card that we need to give her is the Sacred card. So I will meet you there. Alright, so I got her to go to Elem. As you saw there, I need to give her the Sacred card in order to get her to create a new card. So I can't actually get her to say what she's doing there with the new card, but later in the game we'll be able to get a new card based on giving her the Sacred card. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to head back and win the Sacred card from her son there, and then I will meet you back in Delling City. And I actually think I'm going to end the episode here. So what I'll do is in the next episode, I will just start it by meeting you back in Delling City. Until then, this has been Marathon Hurdler. I want to thank you as always for checking out my videos, and hopefully I will see you next time.